all-pervading personality of Godhead, he becomes a victim of hearing rubbish transmitted by man-made machines. Prabhupada predicted what's going to happen in the future, with the gadgets. Machinery is not bad, because through the machine one can take advantage of hearing about the Lord. But because machinery is used for ulterior purposes, it is creating rapid degradation in the standard of human civilization. This was written many years ago, over like around 50 years ago. And look what's going on. It is said here that it is incumbent upon the human beings to hear, because the scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are made for that purpose. Living beings other than human beings have no ability to hear such Vedic literatures. If human society gives itself to the process of hearing the Vedic literatures, it will not become a victim to the impious sounds vibrated by impious men who degraded the standards of the total society. Hearing is solidified by the process of chanting. One who has perfectly heard from the perfect source becomes convinced about the all-pervading personality of Godhead, and thus becomes enthusiastic in glorifying the Lord. All the great acharyas, like Ramanuja, Madhva, Chaitanya, Saraswati Thakur, or even in other countries, Muhammad, Christ, and others, have all extensively glorified the Lord by chanting always and in every place. Because the Lord is all-pervading, it is essential to glorify Him always and everywhere. In the process of glorifying the Lord, there should be no restriction of time and space. This is called Sanatan Dharma or Bhagavat Dharma. Sanatan means pertaining to Bhagavan and the Lord. Bhagavan, the Lord. The Lord is the master of all time and all space, and therefore the Lord's holy name must be heard, glorified, and remembered everywhere in the world. That will bring about the desired peace and prosperity so eagerly awaited by the people of the world. The word cha includes all the remaining processes or methods of Bhakti Yoga as mentioned above. Chai. Again the verse. Tasmat sarvatmana rajan hari sarvatra samvada srotavya kirtitavyascha smartavyo bhagavan rinam. So this is the duty of everyone, especially in the human form of life. All the souls, sarva atmana, that they should be everywhere, always. The topic regarding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, His name, fame, form, qualities, and pastimes, says here, we should do this always and everywhere. At all times and at all places without restrictions. Not everyone can do this freely, especially if they live places where there are some restrictions. Openly they cannot do it. It's like in UAE. Not everyone can go outside and do Harinam. Not everyone can have free prasadam distribution or book distribution. they're so restricted there that everything they're doing in terms of Bhakti Yoga, they do it inside. I remember going there one Ratha Yatra. I was invited, and we did it in a like commercial area, but commercial means inside. You want to put it lower? Yeah, so I can see you. Go ahead. Good. Yes, they did it in a like in a building inside the building. The Ratha Yatra inside is like a space. They rented this space, and what we did is that we have the Lord going round and round. Small cart, like you may say for kids cart. Otherwise, they'll not be able to do it outside. So we did it outside or inside. They cannot do it outside, so we did it inside, and that is the restriction. That what happened. Nevertheless, because they're very sincere, therefore, everything is done with love and devotion. That did not stop them from having a Ratha Yatra. In some places, they have like I was in Alachua, and they told me they have in that area, in Tampa, Jacksonville, Orlando, they have 7 or 8 Ratha Yatras in that area. So glorifying the Supreme Lord shall be no limit and no restrictions, but in other places they have restrictions, so that makes them more, in a sense, Krishna showers more of his mercy towards them by doing so. So at all times and at all places, without restriction, men should hear about, glorify and remember the Supreme Lord with full concentration. With full concentration. See, whatever we do for the Supreme Lord and his devotees, it should be done with full attention, with care, with tender, it says TLC, tender loving care. Yeah, it's not whimsical. We do want to do the very best for Krishna and his devotees. So we should always hear. This is part of our sadhana. Sadhana means regulative principles. Every day, what we do for the Supreme Lord, starting early in the morning, glorifying him, chanting his names, or hearing about him from the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, worshipping the spiritual master early in the morning, during the Brahma Muhurta hour. I've read this morning that sunrise here is 5:30. Is that correct? Huh? 5:30. Even before 5:30. Let's say 5:30. So the Brahma Muhurta hour is like an hour and a half before sunrise, which means 4 o'clock. Yeah? And that's what we do. The temples that's been established by Srila Prabhupada, we have that Mangalartik 4:30. Of course, in other temples, they have to make adjustments. So here you have very good adjustment, 5:30. You don't have to get up so early. But at home, you should also do morning program. Wherever I go, the devotees that I stayed with, because sometimes there are no place at the temple, They do Mangalartik in Atlanta, where I stayed. Gita Mataji, she would do 4:30 Mangalartik. Never fails. Exactly the same time every day. It's like a temple itself. Yes, so this is part of the sadhana so that our life will become auspicious. In order to make our life auspicious, ultimately we have to surrender unto the Supreme Lord. And the first thing that we have to do is to hear. It's very important. It's the most important, as Prabhupada says. Because if we don't hear, especially from the right source, then how do we know why we're doing what we're doing? Yeah, if we're just told, okay, do this, do that, attend Mangalartik, chant your rounds, help spread Krishna consciousness without hearing why we have to do that. So education, our institution is more of an educational and religious institution. Education in that way. Nowadays we have so many ways how we can go dive deeply in Srila Prabhupada's books, like Bhakti Sastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, like our Guru Maharaj, or in many temples now, or many gurus, they will not give second initiation if you don't take Bhakti Sastri. Maybe in the initial stage, the first initiation is not so much. But I believe in some places, even in Russia, they want you to do this Bhakti Sastri. And in UAE, they have Bhakti Sastri for children. It's like we saw a book there yesterday in the lobby. Srimad Bhagavatam for children. Yeah? Aruda Mataji from Boise. Yes? There's a yellow cover over there. So children also should be engaged, especially in the early age, to be attached to Lord Krishna, to be attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because that is the goal of life. Even Prahlad Maharaj, in Srimad Bhagavatam, there are two boys who did not want to play. Have you seen a boy or a girl who doesn't want to play? Yes or no? Huh? You have, sir? Prabhu? Have you seen? Yes. Everyone wants to play. This is the nature of the children, right? But Prahlad Maharaj doesn't want to play. When he's being asked by the friends, the sons of the demons, fellow sons of the demons, come on, Prahlad, now we play, we're still young. But Prahlad Maharaj says no. Can you imagine that? A boy doesn't want to play. That is unheard of. But in Bhagavatam says, Prahlad Maharaj, and there's another boy who does not want to play. He went to the forest instead. Who is that? Dhruva Maharaj. Huh? See, 5-year-olds is like a very magical age in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Who are the other ones who does not want to procreate? They were told by their father, you go increase the population. The 4 Kumaras. Yeah. The 4 Kumaras, they don't want to do anything. They just want to meditate. And they just want to be as attached. He says that is the only instruction from the spiritual master that the disciple can say no. If the spiritual master says, you should get married, the disciple can say, no, Guru Maharaj, I don't want to get married. It's like the four Kumaras, because they just want to completely devote themselves into the process after having darshan of Lord Narayan, smelling the tulsi leaf that is on the lotus feet of Lord Narayan and the chandan. They just decided no. So Prahlad Maharaj, he says, no, now is the time. Now is the time, now that you're young, to cultivate Krishna consciousness. So the Lord can only be seen by those who are pure devotees. Santa sadaiva hridayesu bilokayanti yang shama sundarupam premanjana charita bhakti bilochanan Santa sadaiva hridayesu bilokayanti. That our goal is to ultimately see Krishna face to face. This is the goal of the devotees. And how to do that? It starts from hearing. The Srimad Bhagavatam says that the surrendering process, because we cannot realize, we cannot ultimately have that eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord be established, not until we start from hearing. There are 9 processes of bhakti as described by Prahlad Maharaj in the 5th chapter of the 7th canto. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam. That the first is through hearing, but hearing from the right source. There are many professional reciters of Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavat Katha. You call it Kathakars. In India, especially in Vrindavan, you'll see many billboards all over Vrindavan where the advertisements of different narrations regarding the Supreme Personality of Godhead's Leela, Krishna Leela. But they're professionals. That means they're just doing it for money. They're not doing it for bhakti. So people who are listening, they are enjoying while they are hearing. But after that, they will forget. Instead of purifying one's heart while hearing the narrations regarding the name, fame, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Supreme Lord, the cleansing process is not happening. The purification. But when we read Srila Prabhupada's books, reading Srila Prabhupada's books is also hearing. We don't see Krishna through our eyes right now because our senses are contaminated. But we can see Krishna through hearing from the right source. So we must be very careful. Srila Prabhupada also mentions that you should not hear even from my god brothers. Because if they say something different than what I said, then there'll be confusion. You may be confused. So Yes, one should hear about the Lord to realize Him. One should do this at all times and places. So now, in order for us to understand the Lord's activities, it says that what? That one should understand Janma Karma Chame Devyam Evim Yovita Tatpata Chakba Deham Punar Janma Na Iti Mam Iti Sa Arjuna. That all of my activities, the birth of Lord Krishna and his activities, they are divine. And one who has come to the conclusion and understood it in this way, Chakva Deham Punar Janma, one will not take birth again in this material world. So it says here, Sarvat Mana, one should do it with a complete mind and not with some parts of the mind being attached to karma and jnana. So when we hear, we should have increasing also our faith, because this is the initial stage of bhakti. Ado sada tatu sadhu sangha, then bhajana kriya. When we hear, where do we hear from? From the devotees. That is the initial stage of bhakti. We hear from the devotees, and then our faith starts to bloom. Our faith starts to manifest. So the more we associate with the devotees who are free from the desire for fruitive gains and no mental speculation, then ultimately our faith increases more and more. And then when we do bhakti, other processes of bhakti, under the guidance of our spiritual master, then there is what we call bhajana kriya, the cleansing of the heart. It starts. Then when we start cleansing the heart, we become fixed. Then we start to have taste. Our attachment becomes stronger. And then it'll develop into preliminary state of love of God called Bhava Bhakti. And then ultimately Prema Bhakti. So in order for us to understand the pastimes of the Supreme Lord, to hear the pastimes of the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, and relish that, it says that we should first start hearing the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because without the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we will not be able to receive the mercy of Lord Krishna. Hearing the pastimes of the Supreme Lord, we are getting blessed. We are getting the mercy from Him. So in order to get the mercy from Lord Krishna, that is our ultimate goal, is that we need to get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in order to get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we need to get the mercy from the 6 Goswamis. And in order to get the mercy of the 6 Goswamis, we need to get the mercy from our Guru Maharaj. Follow his instructions with complete mind. We should do it with complete mind. Sarvat Mana. And we can do it at any time and any place. Sarvatra Sarvada. I was just hearing this morning that we should chant our minimum 16 rounds in our beads. Because the beads is there so that we'll be able to know how many rounds we chanted. Yeah? Sometimes devotees, they will use clicker. Yeah, even though the beads is easily accessible. Yeah? Because sometimes they will do many things and they will do chanting also. So they will click. Yeah? And yeah, some devotees, they will put the tulsi, the tulsi attached to the thing that you push. I know some of our gurus or leaders, they're not able to chant like we do because of their health. They're some illness is there. So that is fine. But we're still young. We're still strong. Huh? We can still kick. Huh? So some of them, the disciples, will follow the guru who is not able to chant properly and the japamala. So they will put the tulsi attached to the thing that you click. It's clicker. So hey, I'm doing my tulsi, I'm doing my japa and tulsi. No. That is another thing. So I was just reading this morning that we should finish our rounds in our japamala, 16 rounds. And then after that, we can still continue chanting the holy name without the japamala, because you've done your quota, right? And then you can chant the whole day. Anything that you do. Now, this is different. Anything and whatever you do. I know one devotee, every time I see him, he's chanting Hare Krishna. You talk to him, he's still chanting Hare Krishna. Whatever he does, everything. And he uses finger. In India, they use a finger, right? When we chant the Gayatri, we chant like that. Okay, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, he counts. He's chanting also in Japamala. And then he also counts for how many. So 9 processes, these 9 methods, bona fide methods as prescribed and described by Prahlad Maharaj. We can do any one of them. Prabhupada would say 9, you can do 9 or 8 or 7 or 6. 5, 4, 3, 2, at least 1. But in the initial stage, the hearing. And that one that we should do is the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Because both hearing and chanting is the same there. You can hear. And as Prabhupada says, when you chant the holy name of the Lord, then you just chant. But obviously, when one makes advancement further in Krishna consciousness, then when he chants, he can also see the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. They go together. But in the beginning, we don't have to force ourselves to think of the pastimes. It will happen automatically. All these different pastimes in the Srimad Bhagavatam, that will come. That will come. When we chant purely. But in the beginning, as Prabhupada was asked, what do you think when you chant? Prabhupada says, you don't think of anything. You just chant and hear. That is the goal, to hear what we're chanting. Sometimes devotees, they want to finish their rounds so fast. They will miss 1 Ram or 1 Krishna and 1 Hare. Or they will add 1 Hare or 1 Krishna or 1 Ram. So we should monitor our chanting, our hearing the holy name, and also our eagerness to hear from the Bhagavad Gita or the Srimad Bhagavatam. We should at least read. Prabhupada says 1 hour. What if we cannot do that? Well, we can hear from now in Apple iTunes. The Srimad Bhagavatam is available. The first canto, second canto, third canto, fourth canto, up to fifth canto. Yeah, it is available. It's in my... so you can listen if you cannot hear or read. But again, it's not the same. Reading with a book. I use the computer because of some notes, and I also broadcast, but there is nothing like the feeling when you feel the textbook, Srimad Bhagavatam. And one question was asked, will there be a time that there'll be no more books of Srila Prabhupada printed? No. The printing of the books will always be there. But then we were warned here about the use of modern, machinery. It says here. It says here, when the human being gives up the process of hearing about the all-pervading personality of Godhead, he becomes a victim of hearing rubbish transmitted by man-made machines. What does that mean? There's so many gadgets nowadays. Even our phone is called smartphones. Now they're using artificial intelligence as well. Yeah? Very soon it'll come out with the latest Apple. Steve Jobs, the one who, like the founder, one of the co-founders of Apple, he told his family, you cannot use any of this iPads or smartphones. No, he's not allowing them because it takes a lot of time. It's very time consuming, and mostly it is garbage. Oh, we have smartphones also because we use it for communication. And also we have the Veda base there. The pocket Veda base or Gita base, or some of the bhajans we can hear from our smartphones. But the children nowadays, they're so addicted. I've seen a video. There was a baby in the video, and the baby will cry if the mother will take away. Even while sleeping, the gadget is there. And the baby knew that if you take it away, it's no way. You cannot do that. He will cry. This is the trap. Machinery is not bad, Prabhupada says. As if he predicted what's going to happen in the future, right? Because 50 years ago, there's no smartphones. There is no iPads. There is no tablets. There is no portable computer in those days, isn't it? Because through the machine, one can take advantage of hearing about the Lord. But because machinery is used for ulterior purposes, it is creating rapid degradation in the standard of human civilization. It's amazing. And this was written over 50 years ago. And Prabhupada can tell. He can tell. So we have to we can use everything for Krishna's service. This is what he called Yukta Vairagya. Being renounced, being detached, whatever we have, we use it for Krishna's service. It's like you have a car, right? You probably bought just a new car. I think Radhapati just bought a new car. Or we came here with a very nice car. But we don't use it like for, going to nonsense places. The devotee will use the car from home to work, then back to home, then from home to the temple, then back to home. It's like practically only two places, or if there are any programs, you just bring your card to commute. So we use everything for Krishna's service. At home, we have deities. So the home where we live, that is also using for Krishna's service. Krishna being the center. So, yes, we have to utilize our time more in hearing and chanting, as we've heard last night from Amarendra Prabhu. But His Holiness Radha Govinda Maharaj will spend 5 to 6 hours every day during his childhood. And can you imagine that? That's why Maharaj is so Krishna conscious. He memorized the whole Bhagavatam practically. He did not waste any time for anything except Krishna consciousness. So whatever we can do, try our very best to hear scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, because this is the process whereby ultimately it'll give us love of God. Hearing is the most essential. Is the most essential. And hearing is solidified by the process of chanting. When Prabhupada says, I wrote these books, this is hearing. Reading is hearing. I wrote these books specifically to convince us to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That is the main purpose. Anyone who reads the Bhagavad Gita will conclude that I have to chant. I should chant. I must chant the holy name, because that is the conclusion. So when we along with chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we also read. This is like complementing with each other. So when we read, we relish more the chanting. And when we chant, we relish what we've read. Make sense? It goes together. But it's not so easy. It's not so easy because we don't have taste. So how will we get the taste from hearing and chanting? By doing it. If you say, oh no, I don't have taste for this, I think I'll give up, then how are you going to get the taste? From my travels, I met, young kids. So I asked them to promise to me to chant 1 round or 2 rounds. But then in a grown-up person, I don't ask him to promise 1 round. They're grown up. There's like adults. So they should chant a little bit more and spend more time in reading Srila Prabhupada's books. There is no easy way out, our Guru Maharaj will say. There is no shortcut to this. There is no easy way out. So this is what he called Sanatan Dharma or Bhagavat Dharma. Sanatan, eternal religion. Bhagavat means Bhagavan. So Bhagavan Dharma or Sanatan Dharma, Bhagavat Dharma means devotional service. This is eternal. When you say Sanatan Dharma, that means devotional service. And this will bring about the desired peace and prosperity for everyone, for the entire human society. So, yes, the Lord is the master of all time and space, and therefore the Lord's holy name must be heard, glorified, and remembered everywhere in the world. Hare Krishna. Any comments? Question? You have a question? Let me see if there's a question, because I also broadcast this. It stopped at the 16 minutes. Okay, if there's no question or comments, we'll stop here. See, right on time.
Maharaji, that you mentioned about the hearing. So hearing, reading, and service.
Hearing,
Hearing, reading, and service.
yeah, and we mentioned all of those. Yeah.
Is there any priority can be given, or they all three are on the
Well, first you must hear. That is the initial stage. How can you do service without understanding why you're doing what you're doing? The first thing is the education part. The education part. We have to know. But again, it is not just following the rules and regulations without knowing why you're doing it. That is the main thing. We have to know what the Shastra says. What the sadhu says is according to the Shastra. There are no difference. So, if we hear something which is proper, let's say we've been doing things in the wrong way, we should be ready to be corrected. We should accept we're ready to be corrected. Because you may be doing the same thing again and again, and you may think it is okay, it is right. But if it is wrong, then you should be ready to be corrected. Because if there is the proper procedures, like when we do artik, what we offer first? Incense, right? Then ghee lamp, then the argya, then the handkerchief. We don't do the argya first, and then, ghee lamp, then the incense. Do we? No, because we've heard that is a proper way from the right source. So first here, then when you've heard the proper procedure, then you do the right thing. I'm not saying what you're doing here is wrong, but if it needs improvement, why not? I can go, this is my duty as a sannyasi. We should know what to do and what not to do, correct? So if I suggest something and you don't want to accept it, that is fine. That's fine with me, yeah? But I want you to make progress. I want you to do that because it is the duty of the sannyasis. Even though I'm a visiting, but I want to share something, what I've learned. If I don't, then I'll just take prasad. No. That's not proper. We don't get anything except we should get the blessings of the parampara of Lord Krishna. But if you do whatever you wish to do, as you like, but if I say something and you try to implement, it'll be for your own benefit. I didn't make up things. I don't make up things. Yeah? Prabhupada will stop a kirtan. Devotees, they like to do it like in a show, like orchestra. Said, stop the kirtan. This is Guru Puja. They're chanting for him. Say, stop the kirtan. Find somebody else to chant. Wow. because he wants to teach the proper way. It's not like, the style, like, Siguru Charana Padma. That's not the way how it goes. Yeah. Too many alaps. It's called alaps. Yeah. These are professional singers. They do that. Yeah. You've heard of that, alaps? Yeah. No, it's like that. Just make it simple. So if Prabhupada would stop them, we need to have a standard in ISKCON. They should be a standard. So we try as much as we can, but it's very touchy, because if you become used to what you're doing, you think it's right. And if no one is telling, it must be right. So, I don't want to be blacklisted. I don't want to be blacklisted. I want to keep coming to the places where I come. But it's okay. What you're doing, if you're happy with that, but ignorance is not bliss. Yeah, they have a saying in English: ignorance is bliss. If you don't know it, there must be okay. It must be okay. It doesn't matter. No, there is a certain process how to do it. Any other points? Any comments? Yes.
In the purport, they say, in the process of glorifying the Lord, there should be no restriction of time and space.
Yeah.
We emphasize so much on the timing because of Brahma Muhurta.
Yeah.
And how do we understand?
In worshiping, it's like in worshiping the spiritual master, there should not be any hindrance in between the disciple and the guru. But we are like in the Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. So we have to follow these regulations for punctuality. If we say, there is no time and restrictions in glorifying the Lord, we can have Mangalartik at 12 noon. Yeah? Or whenever I like. I can cook for Krishna whenever I like. Today I'm in a good mood. I'm going to make 108 preparations. But then today or the next day I'm not in the mood. Okay, Krishna, I'll feed you tomorrow. When you this is in the mode of goodness, when you are regulated, and cleanliness, punctuality and cleanliness, especially when it comes to deity worship. It must be like that. Prabhupada is very strict in that way. Krishna Balaram Mandir, we cannot miss like Mangalarti even for 5 minutes. Something is wrong. If devotees are waiting and the altar is not opening, something is wrong. Yeah? Everything is correct here. It's right on time, 9:00. So we're going to have darshan now. Okay? Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki, hearing ki, and chanting ki. Hare Krishna, Hare Bol. Hare Krishna. Hari. It's okay, it's okay. Yasomati Nandana Brajavara Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana Dana Brajavara Nagara Yasomati Nandana Brajavara Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana Gopi Paranadana Madana Manohara Kaliya Damana Vidana Amala Harinama Via Vilasa Vipina Purandara Nabina Nakara Varavam Sivadana Supasa Brajajana Palana Surakula Nashana Nanda Godana Rakovala Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Sundarananda Gopala Sundarananda Gopala Yamuna Tatachara Gopi Vashana Hara Yamuna Tatachara Gopi Vashana Hara Rasarasika Kipamoya Rasarasika Kipamoya Sirada Vallava Vrindavana Natavara Sirada Vallava Vrindavana Natavara Bhakti Vinodasaya Bhakti Vinodasaya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Radha Nila Madhav, Radha Nila Madhav, Shri Radhe. Jai Sita Ram, Lakshmana Hanuman, Sita Ram, Jaya Lakshmana Hanuman. Jaya Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladev, Jai Subhadra. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Go Haribo. Nitai Gaura Sitana Pramanande. Jam Vishapad Pramsa Paribrajgacharya Astotra Sachi Simat, His Divine Grace, Labai Charanar, Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vinda Ki Jai, Jai Shri Rup Shri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Sajiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai, Nama Acharya Sila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Premi se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai. Sisi Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai. Shri Brajabhumi Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Mathura Dham ki jai. Shinavadvip Mayapur Dham ki jai. Ganga Mai ki jai. Yamuna Mai ki jai. Tulsi Devi ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Sankirtan Yagya ki jai. Samaveda Bhaktavinda ki jai. Tai Goshitana Primanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Hari Hari. Please for your son. Okay. Mahapasad. Very good. Hare Krishna.